Welcome to day 8 of my 90-day Facebook challenge. I'm Cathy Novicky of Champions Over Cancer, coming to you live on this Friday evening to talk about something that is happening more and more that we're seeing in breast cancer. While breast cancer usually happens to women, men can get it also. It's more rare, and usually they have the gene, the BRCA-positive gene. But if someone has a strong family history of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and their family has been BRCA positive, then it is much they have a higher probability, the male, of getting breast cancer. So when you, if you're a male and you have this kind of family history, you should be aware that this can happen to you. Now, I am not well versed in the procedure of how you go about, going through the process. I wouldn't even hazard a guess because I don't know. I mean, probably find a lump or something, and et cetera, et cetera. You would go from there. Most likely the same process that a woman goes through, except that you most likely have less breast tissue to go through. So anyway, I just wanted to make that point because I wanted to say that when I'm talking about breast cancer and I'm making my titles, I'm usually speaking to women, but I don't want the men out there to feel left out. It's a club you don't really want to join, trust me, but I'm not ignoring you. I'm just mostly speaking to the majority who get breast cancer, and that is women. So tonight's title is Young, Sexy, Single or Not. And what I mean by that is younger and younger women are being diagnosed with breast cancer, whether or not it's through better diagnostics or more, women are more knowledgeable about it, and they are routinely checking for themselves. The fact is that the numbers of women 20 to 35-ish is increasing, and that brings up several issues. Number one, are you single? Are you single doesn't mean that you're any less likely to get breast cancer, but it brings up the fact that you're looking for a mate, most likely. Not everyone. And so, you want to look your best when you're dating, and if you have had breast cancer, I can't imagine the thoughts that would go through your mind, will anyone date me? Will anyone desire me? Would anyone find me attractive? And it speaks to really how to put it. Every person has likes and dislikes about their body. It's just the bottom line. For me, breasts weren't high on my importance list. When I wear scrubs at work, you can't even tell that before I had my reconstruction, that I had mastectomies. But women in other areas where they have to dress for work, potentially would be more difficult. There are women I know who have said to me, I do not know what I would do if I had to have mastectomies, because they're, in their list of importance, their breasts were, were up near the top. For me, that wasn't so. But, so everyone is very individual in terms of how they view that body part. But being younger, it's, you want to be attractive. You want to attract someone. And if you've been diagnosed and you've gone through treatment with breast cancer, there is a lot of self-doubt, I imagine. Your self-image is totally destroyed, and it speaks to your self-esteem and whether or not, how you're going to do. Your mindset is a miraculous thing. It can, whether you are positive, whether you tend to be negative, it can really hinder you or really foster you to get through it better. Now, the other thing with young breast cancer patients is that they might not have children yet. I, at least, was beyond that, and our children were 14 and 18 when I was diagnosed. So I didn't have to deal with that issue. But, you're single, or if you're married, and the same thing goes if you're young and married, will your husband find you attractive? Will he desire you? How is it going to impact your relationship? As I've said in past lives, 50% of marriages break up because of a women's breast cancer diagnosis. I'm not being judgmental, because I shouldn't be. It's just a fact. I was very, very lucky that my husband was very supportive and found a way to deal with my diagnosis when he was at work and when he was home, and he stuck by my side through everything. Now, did it affect our relationship? Absolutely. But that's not for this conversation. So, back to being single or being married and you don't have children. What do? Well, you can harvest eggs. So, if you want children in the future, you've saved some of your eggs that can be fertilized. But there's a cost that comes with this. It's not cheap. You have to have them harvested. You have to keep them at, I don't even know what kind of a place it would be called, but a lab or something. And there's a fee, I'm sure, a monthly fee or a yearly fee. And I hear excuse me, I hear women who are of childbearing age who, if this happens to them, they really, really, really doubt if they ever want children, because I think it's because they're so devastated that they can't look into the future. That their future seems so far, because they're so young. And it's just one thing that they can't even think of. But I urge you, if you are young, single or married, to harvest your eggs, to do it irregardless, because times change and situations change. And if you harvest your eggs, at least you're giving yourself the chance to have children if and when the opportunity arises and you choose to. So, as I've said, it is a personal choice, but one that I feel strongly that it should be a conversation that women should be encouraged to do that, because once you've had chemotherapy, I mean one round of chemotherapy and I was menopausal. So for me, as I said, it was not an issue. But I don't know what happens to women, to young women who receive chemotherapy. Do they become menopausal for a temporary period of time, and then once their body starts healing, do they start menstruating again and potentially could get pregnant? Are there eggs that are still in their body? Are they damaged? Or if they're BRCA positive, then they've probably been recommended to have a total abdominal hysterectomy, including their ovaries and their fallopian tubes, because if you're BRCA positive, there are very strong ties between breast cancer and ovarian cancer. I'm not even going to go there right now because it's just another path and more complications and thought processes that I personally can't even imagine. So we'll just put that one by the wayside. So, but I guess I think I covered everything. Sorry about having to look at my notes, but after you hit 50 and have chemotherapy, well, there it goes. So, just informative. I hope you like the title, Young, Sexy, Single or Not. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, When you're trying to attract a mate, you try to look your best. Not to say that us married women don't like to look nice for our partners, etc., etc. But it's a little different when you're out there dating. Oof, glad I don't have to do that anymore. So, unless anyone has any questions, I'm perfectly willing to answer any. If this live is complete and you think of some, you certainly can go on my Facebook page, Champions Over Cancer, our website. We are uploading these lives to YouTube, and our likes and our following are increasing, and that is the whole purpose. Well, education, but the purpose is to start talking about these other issues that aren't discussed routinely in your cancer-free stage, when you reach your cancer-free stage. And I think they're important, and I think that someone needs to address them. So at Champions Over Cancer, this is what we want to do. We have these social media technology, for better terms, that you can reach people. You could reach people in your neighborhood. You could reach people across the world. And we need to start having conversations like this, changing the conversation of, okay, you're cancer-free, I'll see you in 3 months. So this is also, as I've stated before, changing the culture of the cancer-free individual. Being called a breast cancer survivor, to me, is not who I am right now. I bet there are 8 or 9 out of 10 of you that look at this live. When I ask you this question, have you ever been in a motor vehicle accident? I bet 9 out of 10 of you will say yes. Well, do you call yourself a motor vehicle accident survivor? I don't think so. So To be called a breast cancer survivor to me is holding me in the past. It's linking me to my diagnosis, which I have gotten through and am now cancer free. So I am looking forward to the past. I've shut that door of my cancer chapter, and I'm walking through that door into my future, creating myself, recreating myself, and trying to create a world with more knowledge, more services, experts. Yes, I'm having a hot flash right here on this Facebook Live, but hey, that's life. So, you know, changing the culture, changing the way people look at cancer, being cancer free. I'm not tied to the past. I am moving forward. Every day is a new day. Every day is a blessing, and so therefore I am grateful for everything that I have, everything that I still have, and for all my friends and family. I love you, and I'm so grateful that I am still alive and that everyone is still in my life. So with that, I'm going to sign off and say have a safe night. Hope tomorrow brings a better day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. I have to work, so it's not going to be long. It's not going to be pretty, but you'll see me. So until then, good night. Peace.